Hello, Gregg le Sueur for online tennis instruction. In today's video, we're going to start on a case study talking about the forehand ground stroke, and we're going to focus particularly on the non-hitting or the non-dominant hand. And very often this gets overlooked, but it plays a very vital role. And in this case, the player Chris, he's a high-level player, he's nationally ranked, but just like the pros, he's constantly working on improving his game. And you'll see that the improper use of his left arm is causing him to over-rotate, so he's shortening his hitting zone, but also it's causing him to fall off balance. So it's very important that you slow things down so that when you go out and practice, you're practicing with a purpose and practicing to improve. If you lack certain fundamentals, you can place a ceiling on your level of play. So let's take a look at a point that we recently filmed, and you'll see what I mean about the use of his non-hitting hand. Notice how he initially sets up correctly with the left hand on the right side of his body, but then he drops it down in a way where it finishes on the left side of his body, which is creating issues for him on his forehand. So in the video you could see that when he was going to hit, the left hand was dropping down and clearing to this side of his body and actually pulling his shoulders around too early. Now when that happens, it'll shorten your hitting zone, and also from a biomechanical standpoint, when you open up too early you actually lose power. Right, so the key is that left hand is a reactive brake. It stops the left shoulder from rotating so that the right side can then accelerate. And that's why when you look at the best players in the world, if you watch the upper body through contact, they remain extremely still because they're using the left hand correctly, and the weight of the arm is not pulling them open. A great example is Roger Federer. But let's take a look now at the drills we did and the progressions to help Chris to use his left hand properly. So when you prepare the racket, you want to prepare the hands to the side. You really want to keep this hand in this position here. This arm is parallel to the baseline. Now what happens when you start to swing forward, you tend to drop it down and pull it to this side of your body. I want you to try to keep it out here as long as you can, and if anything, the arm's going to bend this way and the hand's going to be more in this position at contact, so that way it prevents the shoulders from opening. All right, so one idea just to help you with that is to actually shadow swing a left-handed backhand, because you want to think of tennis as like a two-handed sport. So if my hands are together, they're close together, and I'm actually going to catch the racket right now just to help that left hand. So if you put your right hand on top like this, and you just turn, put the left hand on the bottom, and then just hit a left-handed backhand, and just do that over and over. Just come stand over here a little bit, just so you start to train that right hand and what happens at the end. So you want to just do the shadowing here. Yep, keep going there. That's it. A few more times there. That's it. Okay, so now if you take the left hand off the racket and you just turn here, keep that left hand here, but when you finish the forehand, bring their hands together and then you just catch the racket. That's it. Okay, see one more. All right, the next drill is the catch and hit drill. So what we did is we had Chris catch the ball with his non-hitting hand. He would drop the ball and then hit a self-feed forehand. That way it's forcing him to get that left arm across and give him the feeling of that, and also he can slow down where he's trying to keep that hand out there as long as possible, and so he's not clearing out this way. If anything, he wants the hand coming up as he catches the racket. Let's watch him doing that drill. That's it. See how the hand wants to pull away? Keep it out there longer. That's it, that's it. Okay, just be careful with the stance. We don't want to step across. So when you catch it, try to catch in a neutral stance, like this. A little bit you stepping across, closing your stance. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now, one thing we noticed when Chris was doing the drill, his take back was getting too big and behind his back. So anatomically, if you prepare with a bent arm, it shortens the swing and keeps the racket in front of the shoulder. Even if you turn more, it keeps the racket in front. Now, if you lengthen the arm from this position, you see how it goes behind the shoulder and behind my back. That results in a backswing that's too big and it'll cause you to be late in a lot of shots. Also, it can also slow your swing down. So we pointed out to Chris and had him think about it, but certainly his focus was on this left arm, so at times this does break down, but it's important that he continues to work on keeping this arm bent going forward in the future. Yeah, just something that will help you to abbreviate the swing. Now, if you look at my arm, see how it's bent here. Now, if I lengthen my arm out, what happens? It goes back too far. So when you catch the racket, try to catch it and keep the arm bent here, the elbow bent. Yeah, see how there's a bend in here? So you're going to have a bit of a bend there. Because see how that keeps it in front of your shoulder. When the arm straightens, look what happens.
Yeah.
And that could be, you're saying you're catching the ball late a lot. So it's by keeping that bend. So, with this drill, what we can do is we can catch the ball, but then try to be here. Just catch this one. There you go. Good. Much better. Now the next drill, called the catch-hit drill, I'm going to call out to him either catch or hit, and based on what I'm telling him, Chris is either going to catch it with his non-hitting hand or he's going to hit. But the key thing is, by doing this, I've tried to delay it as much as possible. It's going to force him to keep that arm out there longer, and you get a feel for what it should be doing. So I'm going to call out hit right before he hits it, then he'll move the hand slightly out of the way. Or if I call out catch, he's simply going to catch the ball, and it will help him reinforce keep that left hand out there as long as possible. Let's take a look at him doing the drill. Catch. Okay, keep the arm bent. Catch again. Right arm bent. Yes. That's it. That's it. Do that again. Catch. Much better. Hit. Good. We'll just finish the basket reinforcing, all right? Hit. Catch. Good correction. Hit. That's it. Hit. Catch. That's it. Hit. Good. Hit. Now, once he was able to demonstrate and had a good feel for what it should feel like, then we started to give him more repetitions with hand feeds, and then gradually increased the difficulty where I was feeding from the racket on the other side of the net, trying to mimic that closer to a rally. And you will see, when we compare the footage from the match he played to the practice, how he's getting his left hand in a much better position, and it's not negatively affecting or causing him to open up too early with his upper body and losing in hitting zones. Let's take a look at that. Let's start by looking at Chris's forehand before we started working on his left arm. Now let's take a look at Chris's left arm after working through the drills. There you go. Good. Left hand out there longer. That's it. So as you can see, after the series of progressive drills, Chris was able to make improvements to the use of his non-hitting hand, and it wasn't negatively affecting his hitting zone or what was happening to his body. So if you feel like you're having a shorter hitting zone, you're over-rotating and possibly falling off balance, make sure that you're using the non-hitting hand correctly. And if you're not, then go through the progressive drills and just keep practicing over and over to reinforce good habits.